Yeah. Woo. Let's go.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Untamed. Wake up.
First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wake up, 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 wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
It's time to wake up. Shout out Sherman Wells.
Wake up, wake up.
Let's be coming, fool.
Better wake up from this dream. Life is not what it seems.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. December 8th, 2025. Fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It's happening now. We appreciate you guys joining us on this Monday. How's your Monday going so far? I know it's pretty early to tell for me, but how is it going on for you? Do you relish the weekend? We definitely want to hear about all the events that went on this weekend. Lots happening this weekend and last weekend now. And yeah. Did you make any of it? We'll get into it. But again, appreciate you guys getting up early with us this morning. I already see Pops in the chat. Good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Hello. Excuse me. Mark Manor gives us a good morning. Good morning. Player 21984. That's Leia, isn't it? Happy marvelous Monday.
Player.
Player. What's going on? Player Leia? What's happening? Ariel's 402 said he's on vacation.
Hey, little young Jeezy. I need a vacation.
Bro, you a hard working dude. I'm glad to hear that you're on vacation. That makes my heart glad.
Man,
Take some time.
Man, be on the road. Or I guess on the tracks, I guess.
On the tracks. Get on the tracks. Get on the tracks. Get on the road.
On the tracks.
Man. Man. It's a last week of the shows as well for this season. Space is the place.
Word.
So yeah, it is a Monday. We kind of want to get together here and recap on some things, set some intentions for the week, all that stuff we like to do on Mondays. No guests today, so we'll just be discussing some things that we're going to discuss about stuff coming up. Man,
we're the guests.
We the guests. Look at me. We the guests now. It's going down. Buddy the God, how you feeling over there?
Man, you probably can't tell, but I'm feeling crazy, sleepy, spooky, delirious, crazy.
It's a general state, I think.
Yeah. This is my. I think I caught a second wind when I got on air, man. Because I have not slept. I've been in the studio all night. Yeah. The latest Lanes of Change video is complete. That is done. Yeah. So Yeah.
It's like
I'm
that.
here. Yeah, it's like that. Studio work.
Yeah.
Morning show.
Monday's always tough, man, because you be in the studio late nights on the weekend.
Man, the weekend is a gauntlet, man. I'll be honest. Like, those that Saturday, Sunday late night, and then coming in. Sometimes the creative juices get to flowing, and they come to the studio like, I'm gonna just be here till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and need you to go to Waffle House for me.
By this time, you ought to have Waffle House on speed dial on somebody paying to deliver.
Man. But yeah, we here. Definitely looking forward to today's conversation. And it's the last week, man. So yes, not only setting the intentions of looking forward, but kind of looking back, trying to you popped out the question as far as how to wrap up spaces and places. So we're gonna try to do that today and throughout this week. See a few people chiming in, Mario or Marlon. Mama God. Good morning. How you doing, man? What's good with you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right, man. I'm up and at 'em. So we gonna make it happen today for sure. I was peeping out Marlon. I definitely did a couple things this weekend too. The Spike Lee feature 9 happened last night. So that was an event. That was a killer. If you missed that, boy, I don't know. You probably did miss it. It seemed like everybody in town was at this thing.
Really?
Yeah, everybody. It was a crazy amount of people that showed up for this. And from all different sides of town, and like all my different friend groups in the same room, and that type of feeling. It was something else. We'll definitely get into it. Also, I see Marlon in the chat saying, "Good morning, First Guy fam, and happy motivational Monday from Mr. Man on the Street."
Man, that's almost like a Friday Yippee Skippy. You might happy motivational Monday from Mr. Man on the Street. Okay.
That's what's up. You was definitely man on the street. I definitely saw you out there, out and about doing your thing. And, I saw the events that you showed up to, took pictures at. Man, I appreciate you, bro. Christmas in the Village happened over the weekend. So yeah, I saw him out there with some photos, and many more things. Many more things that's happening. So I really appreciate you being man on the street like that, man. Coming and bringing some good photos and good reports of what happened. That's what's up.
Man, it's more like big kid on the street with that face paint. He was having a jolly old time.
Most def. So that's about it. Yeah, just relishing what happened over the weekend. Thinking about really looking forward to this week being done and going on break. I ain't gonna lie, definitely need it. Definitely need it. And somebody was telling me, I was talking to somebody about that last night. They were like, "Oh, you guys break. You guys take a month long break." I was like, "We do it twice a year because that's what it is." And I guarantee you, it's gonna be it'll be tough. But I'm gonna try to make myself not look too much at what's going on social media and the news because you got to tend to your diet when it comes to that kind of stuff for real. I mean, we can't avoid it. We will find out we'll definitely know what's happening as it happens. And of course, you guys are always putting stuff in Friends of First Sky Omaha, so that's always something that we will be taking a look at. But yeah, taking a little bit of a media break is definitely needed around this time. So I'm definitely gonna do it in a big way. Mark Manor in the chat says, I was not there. I was at Five Nights at Freddy's with two preteens, different kind of film event. Said, I heard it was Film Stream's biggest fundraiser and we will need that theater after Netflix WB thing.
I haven't heard about that.
Oh, you haven't heard of it? Man, so yeah, Netflix over the weekend basically is going to be acquiring Warner Brothers, which is huge. It hasn't gone by yet. There still needs to be some approvals, but yeah, it's that was the big news, and everybody was really just like, "What? This? There's a lot going on here for that." Buying that catalog, can you imagine buying Warner Brothers catalog?
And for some reason, I just feel bad for Blockbuster. It's like Netflix just never looked back. It's like it's like everybody gets it. Everybody gets it.
Oh man, that is hilarious. Yeah. I'm sure that we'll be talking about it. I mean, to me, this is so the news that flashed in my mind about it is that Netflix is also getting into the podcast game. So shows like us, they're trying to make some big moves, make some maneuver. A lot of my friends that invest were like really heavy into Netflix last year, as if they knew something. But this merger. Like I said, well, next season we'll get into it. Next season is going to be called Follow the Money, and there's a lot that we're already setting up for next season to really be looking into some stuff on personal levels, on trying to figure out our own money, also keeping track of what money's going out from taxes and everything else that's happening, and also just business moves in general, just situations where we're always subject to what these big corporations are doing, and we got to like keep track of things and figure it out. So. There's going to be lots coming next season, but this is the last week of this season. Space is the place, and we'll definitely be wrapping up some things about spaces. Good morning, Donnell Sessions. Appreciate you coming in. Before we get to that conversation, I just want to throw a couple of the community updates up there and basically just kind of talk about some of the recap that went down. There was definitely a Christmas in the Village that happened. Shout out to Empowerment Network for doing what they did. Also, Spike Lee was in town, bro. I mean, I just the brother was in Omaha, Nebraska, to a packed house at the Holland last night, and it was just awesome. So I got to go to the pre-party, got to go to the actual event, and then Crab Rangucci was spinning at the after party. Spike didn't really hang too much at the after party; he just kind of like chilled in the back. But he was on stage, and just it was wave after wave of you going. Spike Lee is sitting in Omaha, Nebraska right now with us,
man. Just
wave after wave of yeah. So
the black man himself.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, the birthplace of Malcolm X, the film. It was just incredible. So I'll talk a little bit about that as we go on throughout the night. But it was a great night, and it was just a great night. Also, shout out to 87.9 Bar that just popped up. You guys remember the 415 out here in Omaha, Nebraska? I mean, I'm sure many of us. Both me and Buddy probably have DJ'd at the 415, and that was going on for a long time. They finally sold to 87.9. I know about 87.9, the Culture radio station that they got. We've been kind of talking about a lot over this past year too. Those guys got to have a digital station, and they're really doing the thing. So shout out to them for acquiring the bar, and it's now a black-owned bar. 415 is now a black-owned bar in downtown in Old Market, Omaha, Nebraska. So that's what's up. Shout out to Linda, First Guy fan. That's also working over there at the bar. So yeah, man. Yeah, there's gonna be lots to come. There's already doing private parties and all kinds of good stuff going on over there. I saw Precious and Mike Lee out at one of those nights a couple weeks ago. So yeah, man. It's going down. Support 879 gets down for real. Shout out to DJ. Yeah. Shout out to all of them, man. Getting down. Yeah, that's what's happening too. Also, if you get Omaha World Herald, check it out. Our man Jordan the Ninja is in there. He's been putting out a lot of funny videos about all the road construction, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that Omaha World Herald covered him out there doing his thing too. Talented brother. Very talented brother, multifunctional is what we call it. Heavy on the funk. Brother plays several instruments, sings, writes, acts, does all the things. Shout out to Jordan.
Dapper.
Man, big time. A couple of things that I didn't get to talk about last Friday are kind of not really entertainment stuff, but pretty important. There was a foster care report that came out last week that talked about the state of children in foster care. Of course, the foster care office put this out with that report, saying we released a quarterly report. The graphic highlights some key insights. Read the report in full context. You can also drill down on the data via the data dashboards. So they put a bunch of information portals up for you to go check out what's going on. Says as we near Thanksgiving holiday, our hearts go out to 179 young adults who aged out of child welfare system during fiscal year 2025 with no permanency support such as reunification with their parents, adoption, or guardianship, said Monica Gross, executive director of FCRO. So this is just kind of putting on our minds that of course during the holidays, this is something that we always look at, just families, what's going on with families, and we it's a nice thought to be thinking about foster kids that are aging out and that need some transitions, need some help too. They need help too. So definitely check this out. I'll put it in Friends of First Guy Omaha for you to look at it a little bit more closely. And also, last thing, shout out to IB Black Girl, who is also doing this, examining the lived experience of birthing people in Omaha, Nebraska, and being connected to community resources and another healthcare provider. So shout out to IB Black Girl for putting this focus group together. A little information on that. We are hosting a focus group with Omaha Pathways Community Hub to better understand the real experience of birthing people in Omaha. We'd love to hear from you. To participate, you must be 19 or older, identify as Black birthing person, or be enrolled in Medicaid, have had pregnancy-related experiences within the last 2 years. Selected participants receive $125 for completing a short pre-group survey and joining a 90-minute focus group. Your story can really help improve and care in our community, so go ahead and apply. And, of course, they have a link there for you to do that. So that'll also be for Friends of First Guy Omaha to check out as well. These folk, we always talk about research. We always talk about focus groups and studies. And I know for me, I'm always side-eyeing when I hear a study. Like, who's doing the study? Who's if IB Black Girl's doing the study, I'm down with that study. I feel like some real information is going to be drawn from this study. So if that's you, please participate. If it's not you, pass them along for sure. Also, Senator Margo Juarez put this in Friends of First Guy Omaha and said to pass them along. Health reliability and coal, evaluating OPPD's analysis of North Omaha Station. This is going to be this is something you can register to. It's also a Zoom panel. And they're going to, I don't know I think it's a panel that's going to be on Zoom, but you can register for this Wednesday, December 10th, Creighton Harper Center, 4068, and Zoom panels from 6 to 7:30. And they're going to talk a lot about what's going on with coal and health since that article, since, they put their study out, OPPD, saying they're not really harming us. Then some people are going to get together. Some looks like some heavy hitters are going to get together and talk about what's real going on. Yeah.
Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your ears.
Yeah, man. And that's it. We'll talk a little bit more about community updates coming up. Also, Marlon Harrison's in the chat says, speaking of Spike Lee, I would like to give Omaha Atlanta connection. One of the executive producers, Monty Ross, is from Omaha, Nebraska, and graduated from Omaha North High. Monty Ross, okay. Is that L Genius? You talking about? Is he got an Atlanta connection? Let us know. Black Dynamite in the chat. What's up? He says, good morning, y'all. He He says, so you wanna take your lady to a show at the Rose Theater? Well, you can't. Oh, what you talking about?
Talking about probably Jordan. So you want to take your lady to a show at the Rose Theater?
Well, you
Yeah, you
can't.
can.
You can't see. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, check out Jordan the Ninja. He's hilarious. Sean McCarthy in the chat this morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope you did too, brother. Hope you did too. Let us know what you did. We definitely want to hear about it. With that, I'm going to shoot it over to Buddy so we can talk about some of the themes of today. Like I said, this is the last week in Space is the Place season. So what's going on, Buddy? What's happening in the world?
Yeah, man. Just trying to wrap up the idea, hammer the point home as far as spaces and places. And again, the idea, the whole concept of spaces, the place coming from the concept of Afrofuturism, looking into the space of the future and trying to envision a place that, we want to call home, a place that we can envision where we can all thrive and be our best selves, man. So again, talking about those things, some of the spaces and places that we've been examining, trying to understand, trying to improve throughout the season. We'll be, touching on those things. So starting off with education, something that, I don't know if Sister Cameron is in the chat, but she might be glad to hear about that, saying we don't talk about education enough. But of course, we've been talking about the whole food situation. But again, shout out to actually Sister Quenisha Frazier and Channel 7. I know we've, given KETV some flack recently, but they recently reported on something positive as far as some improvements in OPS. So we'll kind of talk about those things, especially graduation rates as we, get into the next semester. And definitely looking at our students and babies are finishing strong. And speaking of graduation rates, man, kind of killing me this morning. Brain drain again. There's still a heavy conversation about brain drain. Again, once our children do finish school, where do they go? Again, what do they stay home? Do they go abroad? I know Paul and I have our own theories about traveling and going to see other things, and I know Paul, you've recently had some conversations about brain drain in the state. So again, continuing that conversation, especially when we talk about places and spaces and places. Is this a space and place that our children want to, continue families and build their own legacies? And how do we make that the case as far as Omaha is concerned? Then also parks. Speaking of spaces and places, got to touch on it again. A lot of controversy around the money surrounding parks. See Guillermo Pena Valadares in the chat talking about money.
Following the money.
Man. Follow the money, man. Again, it is that is the next season, so we are kind of finding stories that cross the ideas of spaces and places and money. And definitely, this story is one of those. Again, man, if you haven't heard, it looks like there's some movement going on with our public parks and some people not too happy about it. We'll try to clarify exactly what's going on. Shout out to Sidney Gonzalez and Nebraska Examiner for reporting on that situation. Quid pro quo is the word that's been tossed around, or the phrase. So yeah, we'll talk about that. And then also politicization. COINTELPRO is a thing, not quite spaces and places, but we got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about what's going on, man. Again, we've been talking about throughout the season as far as some of the surveillance, some of the communication, some of the things that we have to look out for. Again, I guess it's kind of connected to spaces and places where we communicate what's going on in the spaces and places we call home. Yeah, we got to talk about this. Again, things being politicized. Don't believe everything you see. We'll talk about it.
Man. Big time. You still there?
Yeah, I'm there. Anyway, well, with that, Paul, about 15 minutes have passed, actually a little beyond 15 minutes into the show. What say you?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break so Buddy can wake up. Appreciate you guys coming on in this morning. Marlon Harrison says Monty Ross works for Spike Lee Production, 40 Acres and a Mule, as executive producer and casting director. Appreciate that. Okay. I did learn that last night. Somebody mentioned that, and I had not known that somebody from Omaha had been working with Spike Lee. So that was awesome. Again, if you missed it, Spike Lee was in town last night, and it was at the Holland, and it was a blast. Featured 9. Shout out to Film Streams. I think Mark Matter said earlier this was their biggest fundraiser. This kind of just shadowed all the other features that have come before. I mean, no shade to Paul Giamatti and no shade to Alexander Payne, but the Spike Lee event was on a different level in a big way. Shout Yeah, man, Spike, you're right. I mean, shout out to Film Streams, man, for pulling this off. I'm just really happy about the crew over there and all the work that they've been doing. Look for a partnership between Film Streams and First Guy Omaha to come next season for sure. So yeah, this is going down. But yeah, anything else that went down, let us know. Love to hear about it. Of course, Christmas in the Village went down too. There's a horrible shot there. I can't remember where I pulled this from. There's some other ones out there where they have time to pull them, but there's some great shots at Christmas in the Village and all that as well. So yeah, there's a lot that's happening. Also, shout out to Marlon Harrison, man on the street, hitting Christmas in the Village and a couple other events too. You can always see his work. He posted at Friends of First Guy Omaha, and it's a good recap of what's going on last week. Let us know what you did last week as well. And also today is Monday, so we're kind of setting intention for the week. This is our final week of Space in the Place. Let us know what your intentions are for the week. What you got coming up here for the holidays? If you're traveling, if you're going out of town, what's going on until after New Year's? Where's the New Year's party at that you're going to? This is the week to talk about it. Fortunately, a few people have sent over some flyers for some stuff that's going on. Benson Theater is having one from the House and Loom crew. Also, Noma is getting down with the Angeline and Timeless and Big Wade and the Black Swan Theory. That's going to be a double hitter at Noma on New Year's Eve. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about where the New Year's parties are at. 87.9's throwing one. Shout out to DJ Mr. Soul. Man, there's a lot happening. But this is the week to talk about it because we are going on break after Friday. So stay tuned. We'll take a quick break and come right back and jump into the conversation. Do us a favor, share the show, put it on your Facebook page. Really easy thing to do if you're on Facebook. Also, if you're on YouTube, share the link to anybody who you think might want to come in and check it out. Remind them it's going down. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening now. Stay tuned. Welcome back. First Guy Omaha in the morning. All B, buddy to God.
Hey.
All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, appreciate you. Wanda Lewis in the chat giving us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate it. Also, Ariel's 402B is saying hit the like button, make it hot. Please do this. Please do that. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Talked to a lot of people last night that every time I go anywhere, I run into people who are ghost listeners. So shout out to the ghost listeners who are always tuning in, seeing what's going on with us. And I appreciate you doing that very much. And I appreciate the kind words of encouragement to keep going. People were very excited to hear about the way we're going to be expanding the news next year. Got to talk to a few people on that. And news expansion and the show expansion is going down. There's going to be some changes that are happening for the next season, which starts January 14th. So get ready for next season, some changes. And if you're a avid chat chimer, we'll definitely be hitting you up personally and with an email so we can talk about those changes and how it is that you can make sure that you still stay in the realm with us as we continue on. So shout out to you on that for sure. Marlon Harrison says, I'm going to make a shirt, Mr. Man on the Street, with the First Guy Omaha logo on it. You got it, brother. I love it too. Yeah, we definitely got some press shirts that we're going to be looking at doing next year for all the citizen journalists that we've been working with as well. And we're going to be growing that situation too, content creator camps for next year. So I'll be trickling in a lot of these changes and things that'll be happening throughout this week. So stay tuned for that. We will have a show, special guests on Wednesday and Friday, our last day of the season. And we'll be trickling in a lot of some information about what's going to be changing on next season and what we're going to be doing and all the new stuff happening. So stay tuned for all that news Meantime, between time, let's go ahead and jump into today's thread. What's first on the agenda, buddy?
Yeah,
Go on.
again, as I mentioned, starting off with a little, my chair, sorry, excuse me. Starting off with a little of the affirmative, as I try to do, man. I know we've been very critical of Channel 7, but again, starting off with some education conversation. Shout out to our sister Cameron Snipes, who was, speaking of being critical of us, saying we don't talk about education enough. But then want to update on the conversation we've been having, of course, looking at how the feeding situation, and I think that's still an ongoing conversation. I think we're all aware that that's still ongoing, as you see the board still trying to figure that out. But this report talking about some things that are working, some things that are improving with OPS, because we all know right now that's that's what we have. Again, trying to figure out the education system as far as a lot of our children, especially Black and brown youth, in OPS. And again, according to this article, some things are improving. Looking at the numbers, which is an important part here in the show. Again, trying to create more clarity than confusion, and again, trying to find what's really going on. Sometimes the numbers can help as far as the metrics. I know we talked about, especially the preschool to prison pipeline, literacy being one of those big numbers. Just some of the numbers, according to the articles, between 21 and 22, the 23 and 24, which of course was the last full school year. About 9% proficient in English language, 6% proficient in math, 20% in science. Of course, those numbers are going up. 21% proficient in English language. That's up to 16% and 50%, 56% proficient in science. So again, shout out to Sister Kimmer Snipes, who posted this on social or on Friends of First Sky. Actually shouting out a few alma maters, my alma mater North and Benson, improving on graduation rates, which is again a big marker. And still, as we finish off this second semester, they're looking at literacy rates, which again, we'll continue this conversation in the second season as far as following the money. And I do want to continue the conversation at activating some nonprofits, some community organizations. How can we get some money going to get them activated and help some of these? Because of course, it's not free or cheap for as far as time, but helping with the youth as far as education and literacy in 2021. According to the article, percentage of students in the entire district who were proficient in English, math, and science was about 27%, 40% respectively. By 2023-24, those percentages increased about 39 to 53%. So again, some of the data I posted on Friends of, couldn't find it this morning, but shout out again to Sister Kimra, who sent us some of those data points. Always looking at the data and pulling the numbers and receipts. Post those on Friends Up for those who want to look as far as getting a closer look at exactly what is going on with OPS. Because again, I know we've had a lot of conversation, but once you start to look at the numbers, start to actually see some of the stories, anecdotes, again, trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, most def. Also, we need to figure out what's going on with the money. So again, follow the money next season in a big way. Kimmer is always the one that's telling us that their budget is almost as big as the city's budget, or just as big, or even bigger, for in some cases. So there's a lot of money that's flowing. It's always been part of that conversation too. So shout out to her. Shout out to Bree Full, who's been coming on talking about some of these budget things that's happening as well, because that definitely directly affects everything that goes on with our education system, especially at OPS. So we'll definitely be looking into that more too. And as a matter of fact, I think somebody offered to, I can't remember who offered to look closely at the budget and bring some of that information on, but we'll be talking to them next season about that and kind of looking really closely at the budget as well. So yeah, man. Ariel's 402 says standardized testing is obsolete. Man, I wish that everybody felt that way. Says standardized learning is not. I heard that. Is no more. You saying standardized learning is no more. Yeah, that's interesting. It is something that we talk about here a lot. My dream would be if we were able to open our own school. I think that'd be awesome. But even if we did that, that would be, just a one small solution to a problem. We've been doing this long enough to understand now OPS, where the majority of the kids are going to go, also needs to be revamped. It's not just starting something new or doing something else, but like there needs to be some attention paid there because most of the kids are going to be in the school district going to public school, and that's just what it is. So yeah, stuff like standardized testing, I feel like needs to be revamped. There's so much that needs to be revamped. It almost feels daunting. It might be too daunting of a task to do. But there's also a lot of people, teachers, administrators, and board members that are working hard to push things where they need to go as well. So that gives me some hope about, like Beeee was saying last time she came on, like let's try to have a little faith in what's going on there with the people behind the scenes. So Marlon,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely appreciate Marlon's comment. We can go to that in a second, but that point there, as far as having the faith, I think that was what I really walked away from in the conversation about the food, and the feeding the Beee's resolution. As far as it's obviously in conversation, like we don't have the answers now, but having faith that people, especially Kimmer Snipes, Beeee, even Jane Erdenberger, want to feed the children, and having faith that they'll figure it out. And we can all be there for the ride.
So true, man. I mean, yeah, I think that was the big takeaway. Shout out to Kimmer Snipes. Is like always coming with the facts, always coming with the receipts, always coming with the notes to make you really kind of understand what's going on a ground level that way too. Like just really seeing the numbers, and also everybody else who's having like you said, anecdotal information too, speaking to people, speaking real life experience, speaking to parents and kids. We need it all. So I just love the fact that, I mean, it's really something when you think about it, that we got people that are even working in that direction. Because right now in our administration, we got people actively working against that feeding kids. Just straight up. Don't want to handle it yourself. Go get a job, kid. I know you're only 7.
Man.
If you don't work, you don't eat, kid. Go get. So yeah, we're there for sure. Marla Harrison, who is one of our people also in the education system, is saying one thing that I wish that article mentioned is that OPS for the past few years had a high immigrant and refugee population, which is why reading scores are so low.
It's a great point.
That is a great point. That is a great point when you think about people coming in and English is a second language and having to learn that and go through the learning, the growing pains of learning that in a system that don't want to cater to their original language.
Man, on top of coming out of the pandemic. So
he also says when majority of the kids don't speak English but still required to take the ACT and the SAT, that's going to bring down scores. Yeah, I hate that last sentence that it's going to bring down scores. Like the scores ain't the point, but yeah, that is what they care about scores being brought down. And they're not trying. I don't think they're trying to make any exceptions for it. But you're making a lot of sense, Brother Harrison, for sure. Also, Ariel's 402 says some learn visually, some audibly, some learn physically, and we all test standardly. Yep, you're right. Okay. You're right. We learned over the last decade about all the different ways that people learn. I can't remember this brother who's on the TED Talk talking about it. It really opened my eyes about it. But yeah, there's so many different ways to learn, and we all are different and learn in different ways. But the standardization is really a tool of white supremacy, if you ask me. Anything that is to make a standardization is them trying to make everybody assimilate, which is their whole MO. Assimilate to this idea of whiteness, no matter what color you are. That's the whole reason why they cut off the hair of indigenous kids and everything else that's gone on over the years to standardize. So I get real side-eyed when I hear that word in a big way. Yeah, what say you? Let us know. 7:34 right now if you believe in the concept of time. Man, buddy, I know you don't drink coffee, but you might need a little cup of drunkship today.
I might need a little drunk shit.
Put no Michael Scott on me over there now. Yeah, and then the kids said, and then.
But numbers also aren't always the most sexy. But you gotta talk about it. It. Again, shout out to Sister Kimmer for sending us those, and everybody else's comments on that. And yeah, I mean it. It's a part of the larger conversation. Definitely going to be getting into brain drain here in a second. Which is kind of central to that. It's the next evolution to that conversation. about what's going on with children in school. And then once they get out of school, what do they have to look forward to? What are they working towards? What are they learning for? Like what's it all for?
Man,
Yeah.
that's a good question. That's good. Yeah, let us know what you think. What say you on all these things? We're definitely going to get into some other conversations here. We'll take a quick break and come back, but we definitely got to get into a few things that's going on, man. I was just got another message even right now about this park situation. I heard a lot about it last night, talking to some folks, and of course, we I don't know if you guys saw Justin Wayne was really upset about something. I actually reached out. So he want to come on to the show and talk about it. So I'll hit him again and see. But if you don't know what we're talking about, get ready. We're gonna be talking about what's going on with these parks. Mike Lee was on the show, was commenting as a chat chimer last week about some things that's happening with the park situation. We'll have to get into it, but let's take a quick break first and kind of clear the air. Come back and we'll talk about all these things coming up. It is 8:35. I'm sorry, 7:35 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, buddy to God. Stay tuned, y'all. We'll be right back. Take your time. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, buddy to God. Shout out to Pops for the Pops theme. Appreciate you this morning.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if you guys saw. Mama God said I was hoping former Senator Wayne would join to discuss his perspective. Yeah. We're working on that. He's always good for coming on, talk about what's going on. We'll definitely have to hear from him. I'm gonna try to get him here before the week is out, so that we can have some discussion on that for sure. But so that people know what we're talking about, you want to go ahead and dive into this story a little bit?
Yeah. And I mean, it's, me, man, always seeing connections, and it's definitely connected to the conversation we're just having as far as education because of the Mandela effect, if you will. Again, talking about Miller Park. Again, there's a lot of conversation, dust being kicked up around this agreement, I guess you can call it. Shout out to, again, Cindy Gonzalez and Nebraska Examiner for reporting on the situation, giving just a little more insight into what's going on. So let's go ahead and dive in. Again, it's all coming to our attention from Senator Wayne, who did not hold back on social media, sharing how he felt about this situation, saying it was basically not a good idea, asking. So we're really doing this? Saying a 40 million check gets you your own public park in a private trust. Of course, what he's referring to is apparently an agreement which has not been agreed upon. The ink has not, hit the paper just yet. But there is talks about an agreement between the city of Omaha and Lozier Foundation and the Miller Park Trust, which would apparently create a partnership or some kind of agreement that would allow the Lozier Foundation to, as Mayor Ewing puts it, create programming and also, let's be honest, make a money move. This is something that I can, share more as we talk about it, but I'm not surprised from this move as I look more into it. Again, as Mayor Ewing being a former treasurer, these kind of money moves, I can see them. Do they make sense? Do they work? I don't know. But, as far as Mayor Ewing being a money man per our conversations, making this move, again, this is not only for Lozier to create programming, but they will, there's some cost associated with this as far as Lozier's taking up the mantle on some maintenance for Miller Park. which, according to Mayor Ewing, will allow an already stretched city parks department to tend to other duties. Again, is this a good idea or just blowing smoke? Let us know what you think. As I mentioned, Lozier Foundation is connected to the Mandela Elementary School, which is right across the street. They already have, uh, recitals in the park with the kids and festivals. Like, there's already programming and events going on in Miller Park from Lozier Foundation. So is this a move to expand on those things and give them more free reign, or is this something else? What say you?
Well, what's saying me right now is that I'm still not quite clear on what the story is here. What is the actual deal? So we jumped to what Senator Wayne was responding to, former Senator Wayne, but but I'm still not really clear on what's going on. So just so that I can understand what's happening there, Miller Park, where's the $40 million come in? What is the problem with an organization doing some programming? Um, Give me the context of this story, if you would, and explain it to me like a 5-year-old.
So following the money of it all, that's a good question as far as where the 40 million comes in and why Senator Wayne is claiming quid pro quo in this situation is because Lozier Foundation has also purchased $40 million in housing bonds from the city to accelerate affordable housing. So again, Senator Wayne is basically saying that because the Lozier Foundation spent $40 million with the city to buy housing bonds so the city can spur its economic development and affordable housing plans, that gives, in turn, Mayor Ewing is giving Lozier's free reign to do what they want with Miller Park. Basically saying that these foundations are buying public parks. That's his claim.
That don't sound like they're buying a park to me.
Again, that's the story. That's his claim.
So let me get to this idea about the programs. Then is they're giving a park to do programs for the community, with just free reign, or I mean, what does it actually look like if the claim is that they're buying a park? What would they do with the park that they're buying? Or because what I'm hearing is that he's allowing them to do programming at the park. And as you mentioned earlier, they already do a lot of programming at the park, especially Miller Park, across the street from Mandela. So let me get that part straight. They're buying a park is different than being allowed to do programming in the park. Has Lozier put out any information on what they want to do with the programming? Do we know what that is? Anything in the article that is talking about that at all? And if the chat knows anything too, let us know. Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. Not specifically as far as names of programs or what they will do, but it does, of course, already mention, as I mentioned, the programming that they have with Mandela. Again, being a part of the development of Mandela, not just programming at Mandela, but help build and fund the school, again, a tuition-free school. It doesn't necessarily say what types of programs, if they will have more, like I mentioned, recitals, like instruments, music-based programs, arts-based programs, cultural-based programs. But per the agreement and the business of it all, according to the article, officials said that the city of Omaha will still manage the golf course and the swimming pool. But according to Mayor Ewing, there are no strings attached. He's quoted saying they want to be a partner with the city and help us to be able to maintain our parks. It will still be a public park available for people to use. It's not turned over to Lozier or anybody else.
Okay. All right. So we really do need to reach out to Brother Wayne, see if he can expound a little bit on what it is he's upset there, because I'm still not really seeing it, and also because I know that Lozier has donated a lot of money to the park already, and a lot of things that's happening in the park is because of that. And they've done a whole lot of reaching out to the community surrounding the park about what to do, and they make moves only because the surrounding population there wants those moves to be made. That's how it's happened in the past. So I can't see why that would change up in the future, and for what reason. Everything that I'm hearing right now is sounding to me pretty positive. Money going into affordable housing, money going into making sure the park stays up. Once again, they're right across the street from Mandela, so things are happening already. What say you on that? Are you seeing anything that?
Well, it's not necessarily what I'm seeing. I'm kind of curious. Have you seen what everything that Senator Wayne has been posting? Because he's been very vocal on social media. And again, if anybody, again, there's been a lot of conversation with friends of. So, hey, y'all, feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think on this situation. But according to Senator, he feels like there's more that meets the eye as far as he does feel like the community is losing a park. Area
Mm,
402 in the chat is saying as long as Logier doesn't own the rights to the park and can only sponsor the park, I'm fine with it. Logier has been an upstanding business in the city, and I believe from what I've seen and what I know, Logier has been upstanding. But again, according to Senator Wayne, he expects, and the article, Senator Wayne expects "quote unquote" wealthy donors to gain influence and eventually families to be displaced.
mm,
Um, on a Facebook post, he wrote, "The purpose of the park gets rewritten. It stops serving the community and starts serving development interest, investors, or political branding. The
mm,
neighborhood loses a civic space and gets a marketing asset instead." So,
mm,
again, and he's going along the lines of now it's you see security popping up at the park, random security popping up at the park. Now kids can't skate through the park, or
mm.
kids can't walk through the park. I mean, I'm this is me kind of going along the lines of what Senator Wayne might be thinking or might be expecting from this situation. I'm kind of thinking similar to what we've seen as far as leading and preceding gentrification in DC. If you remember, there's
Mm.
been a conversation of some of the public greens around Howard University, again, a historically black school. But as the area around Howard began to gentrify, some of the school's greens became a point of contention. Some of the, I'll just say residents walking their dogs to let the dogs poop on the greens and things like that, and students who, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. But again, we're talking about spaces and places, and who has agency over these spaces and places, and who's allowed in these spaces and places, and what does that mean about what you call home and where you call home, and
Okay.
how's that the situation.
I think I'm getting it. We definitely need to holler at Senator Wayne, see what he has to say on that. And also, I'm going to reach out to somebody from Logier too and get some information there too. In the chat, RG says, I live right across the street from the park and I haven't heard a peep from Logier's. Okay. Heather Williams gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Wanda Lewis in the chat says, Logier installed a water fountain and an outdoor restroom. Only the students of Nelson Mandela and during the outdoor concerts can have use of the restroom. Any
Hmm.
other time, it's under lockdown, just like the softball field and basketball court. Oh, I didn't know they were under lockdown. Are you sure they're under lockdown? I used to live across the street myself, and we used to walk to basketball courts like every day. I didn't realize there's
Well,
some other courts over there.
yeah, I was just gonna say which basketball courts. It's two.
Okay. The community in which the park is located does not have access to use to you or to use. Okay. So, okay, yeah, these are some. I appreciate that. These are the things that we wanted to talk about here. If you got some information on that, I didn't realize that there was even another court that was locked. Interesting. Okay. Also, Areas 402 says, where about in the city does the majority of its workforce live in? That's a good question. Heather
Mhm.
Williams says, maybe he's just tired. This kind of thing happens all the time in North Omaha. Will it serve the community? Okay, expand on that a little bit. Who's tired? What kind of thing you're talking about?
I think she's saying Senator Wayne is tired, like just tired of seeing
Mm,
resources, space be
mm,
taken from the community.
okay, like I said, man, I feel like we got to dig in a little bit more. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what the conversation is about, and then and our next move is to go talk directly to the players. So I will definitely try to get Senator Wayne on to talk about this a little bit more. I'll reach out to somebody from Logier as well. Love to hear about that situation and any information that you have if you live around Logier, RG, anybody else who has some information about Miller Park in particular. Beautiful space. I will say that we just, my uncle passed away and we had repast over at Miller Park in the pavilion. And I was just kind of, dealing with the Parks and Recs people there to make that happen and kind of walking around the grounds and stuff before the event and then had the event. It's definitely a gem. To me, it's a beautiful place that's in the heart of North Omaha in a big way. And yeah, I'm anxious. Like I said, I used to live right by it, and I used to walk to it every day. So I definitely feel I want to hear something about it for sure. What's going on there? But we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll definitely talk to the players involved and find out what's really going on. Mike Lee also was on the chat probably about a week or two ago, talking about that too. As a matter of fact, there was
there's an event coming up.
Yeah,
on the 13th, I believe.
I thought I pulled that, but I guess I did not. Yeah, I'll try to find that flyer again, and we'll. Oh, I did pull it. Here you go.
Okay. Well, yeah. While you pull that, man, you taking me back. Like Miller Park is actually kind of my community park. It's a park I grew up around. I went to Minnelusa Elementary School, went to Belvedere Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
So just man, a lot of memories. Actually, Miller Park was my first job. Actually, working at the park was my first job. Definitely rest in peace to Mr. Steve Hogan. That's where I go golfing when I come. Like, it's a lot of memories. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see all this commotion.
You still golf over there when you come in town?
Yeah, and man, and rest in peace. Also, thinking of I just drew a blank on brother actor that just passed. We'll see him all the time there. An older actor, just Brother Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see him, it will be at the golf course. I would see him, Johnny Rogers, like a lot of the elders in the community, still getting stretching the legs, if you will, and that's where they go, the golf course.
That's
Miller Park.
Yeah, we'll have to jump in, man, for sure. I appreciate that. Heather Williams says thank you. That's what I mean. Okay, cool. Senator Kavanaugh is in the chat. Good morning.
Hey.
I'm always concerned when moves to privatize a public good, even when it's well intentioned. Okay, if there's some privatization going on here, I really need to understand this, right? RG says may have to check out the next Miller Park Minnelusa Neighborhood Association meeting and see if they have any details. Good idea. Kimmer Snipes will be proud that you going to a neighborhood association meeting for sure. Wanda Lewis says that they tightened up even more since the renovation of the pavilion. Okay, and the tighten up part. Anthony Rogers right in the chat. This is what happens when the city has a budget that prioritizes police over parks and the public. It's disgusting, and the mayor should be ashamed. Okay, you've already drawn your conclusion about that. Okay, I'm still trying to get some more information here. Wanda Lewis says it all began when they named the new softball field after Kerry Orozco, officer that got shot in the line of duty some years back. I do remember that naming, thinking, wow, okay. Says a lot. Aerials 402, if the amenities are locked, there should be a clause that allots for open play a majority of the time. Yeah. Like I said, really need some more information, because on the surface, I feel like it's an important space. There's a lot of great things that have been put in that park, and I'm glad that there's going to be some efforts to maintain things. If there is some privatization going on, that's concerning. And also, I know that when we got the pavilion for my uncle's repast, we did have to call Parks and Rec, and actually got on their website to reserve the day. That was through them. We couldn't go through. It wasn't like we were calling Logier to try to get into the pavilion or anything like that. It's still Parks and Rec. From my experience, is still the organization that we have to go through to reserve places. And I remember seeing that that's not the only pavilion. That's not the only place to be able to reserve. There's other parks in other areas where you can reserve spaces and so on as well. It's got me wondering now, like, how public is the park? And how much do the public or do private entities or even foundations help to keep parks doing what they do? And to Anthony Rogers' point, is it a thing that we need our mayor to handle more? Does the city need to put more funds there instead of elsewhere? So a lot of questions. I definitely want to get some more answers to it. We're going to see things from a bunch of different perspectives in the first place, and then go to the source and try to find out exactly what's happening if people are really concerned about it. And if former Senator Justin Wayne is concerned, I definitely want to know why. I definitely sparks my interest to be like, what's going on? What's he upset about?
Yeah.
I mean, the brother looks into some things, but that, like I said, I've spoken to people off the record from Logier that told me about a lot of things that Logier has been doing over there, and it is very community based and so on, and it may not be what it seems. So we'll just have to keep on figuring it out. But I think I got a good grasp on the story and what's actually happening, what people are upset about. If I'm missing something, let me know. If you have more information, let us know. And if you are still confused about what's happening, stay tuned. We're going to try to get the players involved on the air so we can talk to them about it.
Yeah. Man, and it goes back to the larger question that I kind of asked Sister Kimra, as far as like, when we talk about spaces and places and how the organizations that, live in these spaces, or I guess operate in our space, how do they work together? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we've also seen our partners at Omaha Performing Arts. They've done some cool things at Miller Park.
right.
So what does the programming look like? So definitely more questions to answers as we wrap up this segment. Though I did want to at least hammer down what we do know
Okay.
per this article. Again, the agreement that is under question that everybody is chiming up about is between the city of Omaha and what's called the Miller Park Trust. So the Lozier Foundation is creating it, or has created, or is a part of an entity called the Miller Park Trust, which is, again, the potential agreement partner with the city of Omaha. But per your points, the city of Omaha will maintain ownership of the 80-acre park and landmark three-story pavilion. So the pavilion and the land that the park is on will remain under ownership of the city. They will also maintain management of the golf course and swimming pool. So I think there are other areas like there's a dog park over there. There's a splash pad that's over there. There is, there's basketball courts by the baseball field, but there's also like another half court basketball court with like a smart pad kind of sporting little area. I think that is gated off. So those stations, I think, Lozier might be maintaining, but again, we'll see. The 13th, can you pull that flyer back up? I don't know if anybody caught that, but again, December 13th, there's an opportunity for people to hear more, learn more, chime up, have your voices heard.
So this is what I'm understanding about this flyer here. They had one Thursday, December 4th. That's probably Justin Wayne's response is probably because this meeting happened. After that meeting is when he made his response. So another one is coming up on the 13th for us to be able to go to. Sessions held at Nelson Mandela Elementary, Miller Park stakeholders engagement. So again, here's an example right here of the sessions being held at Nelson Mandela, which we determined is the Lozier entity. So they're definitely going to be part of this. But I also see the Omaha Parks and Recs logo there too. So it's definitely going to be where all the players are involved, and they want some engagement here. Join us for upcoming stakeholders engagement session to hear the latest updates and share your feedback. So have an opportunity to share your feedback. RG, hope you make it to this for sure.
Yeah.
You can't make it, scan the QR code and complete our survey. So there's a survey there as well. We'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha, so you can hit that QR code, do the survey, and let them know what's happening. Let them know what you feel about what's going on. But let's get the information first before we start making some decisions on what it is that we're doing on that.
Man, speaking of players,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in the chat, Sister Terry Crawford, man, just kind of opened my mind up with that one.
Good morning, Ms. Crawford. Appreciate you. Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead?
Man. Yeah. She says, good morning, First Sky fam. This is not new info. Issue was discussed 2 years ago regarding locked facilities. I had a meeting around redlining and continued exclusion in facilities at public parks. Be very diligent as we address this issue. More to it than meets the eye. And I'll be honest, man, kind of getting a little sense of deja vu, and I do feel like there might be a little more to this than meets the eye. I don't know what, but we're going to continue talking about this. Maybe even follow the money next season.
Sounds like it. Anthony Rogers Rice says we need to see the contract between the city and the foundation, because we need to know if the park is collateral, if if the city can't pay out for the streetcar bonds, which it may not be able to. The city is broke. Another thing to consider: the city broke. So again, follow the money. This is definitely going to be one of those ones where we do that. But like I said, man, there's only a few. To me, there's only a few foundations in town that have been doing some good. Logier being one of them, and I feel like I definitely want to talk to somebody from Logier. They've been real low key. Like I've had a lot of off the record conversations about some of the stuff that they do for the community that I wish that I can talk about, but really can't. Because they're not doing it for the recognition. They're doing it because it's community based stuff, and so there's a lot that I think a lot of information that I hope they speak on more in order to give people even more of a perspective of what's happening. But I also really am glad that people like Terry Crawford and Anthony Rogers Wright are coming on right now and saying here's some things to look for here. We do need to see some things a little bit closer if possible. Is if what's been going on over there feels like it's getting privatized, that's a concern. But like Miss Crawford, you're saying this has been an issue for a while now. Some of the locked facilities and so on. And what kind of problem is that? Does that stop people from going to the park? Is there, what would it look like to everyone who's upset about this? What would the park look like? What would the access to the park look like if we had the way that we think we ought to have? Like I said, there's just a lot more things that I want to kind of get into about this to really understand what's going on. So, yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody's comments. And Wanda Lewis in the chat says, why don't they reach out to the neighborhood association first, since they want to promote community engagement? When trees are planted, we adopt them and take care of them until they thrive. The association includes the park during their Saturday trash cleanup in the summer. I believe they have reached out to the neighborhood. I believe they had a conversation with the neighborhood association.
I feel like I did read. I'm looking to verify, but I feel like I did see that in the article. I do think it's the Minnelusa neighborhood association. I do believe that they are actually involved with this.
Yeah, and that was what I understand is that is a neighborhood association that is very active and very vocal. And if they don't like what's going on at the park, they're gonna speak all the way up. And so I'm thinking about that group in particular when I'm thinking about the people that are surrounding the neighborhoods. I do remember that from living in that area. The Minnelusa group is super active. So I would definitely love to hear about what they have to say as well. It might be even somebody to talk to, and anybody else that lives around the area that wants to talk about it, we'll definitely check it out. So I appreciate that. It's 8:02 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I appreciate that very much. Looks like Anthony Rogers Wright says, y'all know I would not be giving Stothard this much latitude if she did this. We have to get over the ID reductionism. Ewing's honeymoon is over, and we need to start holding him accountable. I think we started from the jump. It was the idea to hold him accountable right off the bat. So we'll definitely dive in and see what's happening here. We can also, you got me thinking though too. All the players that we need to talk to, Mary Ewing is one of them as well.
Yeah. And I think our feelings are more about Lozier than it is about Ewing in this. Like feeling like Lozier actually doing some good.
I think they are doing some good, but I think they're right. I think we're right. It would be good to see if the agreement between the city and Lozier for sure. But it's right now it's tough for me to put anything on it because I feel like both the mayor and Lozier have been doing some good. So is this going to be something good, or is this going to be what's it going to be? Like Miss Crawford said, let's keep our eye on it in a big way. This has been going on for a while. Be very diligent, she says, as to address this issue more than meets the eye. Can't wait to see what the more is for sure.
December 13th.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'll put that flyer back up for everybody. Definitely be involved with this one, Saturday, December 13th. Sounds like the community is speaking out on this one in a big way. Didn't even expect for this story to be talked about as much as it is right now. But obviously it's hitting a nerve in several different groups. We need to talk about it. Continue. 8:04 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we'll take a quick break and come back in and jump into some more conversation. We're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. This is the first day of our last week for the season. We'll be taking a break as of Friday.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's that?
first day of the last weekend.
Do the mental arithmetic.
Yeah. It's too early.
What's today's mathematics? Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is the first day of the last. It's the first day. Yeah, it's going down. The season will end on Friday. We'll be taking a month off, and then we'll be coming back January 14th. Will be the first day of the new season. It's the Follow the Money season, so we're definitely ramping up to that. But right now, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and jump into some more conversation. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Black.
Yeah. Button didn't button on me. We'll be right back, y'all. Stay tuned.
Black. One move, we move. Just like that. Just like black. One move, we move. Just like that.
Welcome back for Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddy to God. Definitely check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe when you get over there. We're working on a series called Lanes of Change, Elements of Revolution. We're talking about all the different lanes that a lot of people in our community occupy in order to get together side by side and plow through, make some change. And what are these elements? And we'll definitely be talking about it. We released this one, Lanes of Change, Elements of Revolution, Strategic Communication, Part 1. Part 2 is coming soon. This one, we were able to talk to Chris Baby Boy Bowling and also Brother Sherman Wells. And we'll be talking to a little, continuing that conversation and then some. Also, a little bit more with Mary Ewing as well. So stay tuned for Part 2 of the Strategic Communication episode. It's coming up on YouTube. Like and subscribe, hit the bell so you know exactly when it's coming, but look for that this week as well as we wrap up the week for Spaces and Places. Spaces the place. It's going down. In the meantime, between time, how y'all doing out there? Let us know. We definitely still want to hear from you about what happened over the weekend. If you were able to go to some of these events that went down, Christmas in the Village, Spike Lee Feature 9 over at the Holland.
Man, did you meet him?
Didn't get to meet him, man. I didn't really try this time around. I didn't feel like you kind of got in the mood to be a little bit like, yo, let me get backstage. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling that this time around. I was actually walking around pretty high, just like off this fact that Spike Lee's in town, sitting at the Holland, having a conversation with people that I know, friends of mine, and the room is just packed, just full of, I sat there with Joaquin, his mom, like we made comments and had a great time just the whole time. And I met some people that are on the other side of me, and the conversation is just, what's your favorite Spike Lee movie? And that's how the people that you didn't know, you were starting conversations and having conversations about it. And it was really apparent to me like how prolific of a situation we had in Omaha, Nebraska last night. Big as anything, anywhere I've ever been and anywhere I've ever lived for film streams. One of the donors that got up and said, that they travel around the country all the time, and Film Streams is a premier art house theater like none other in any other place that they've been. And I kind of got to say the same thing. Really? Even growing up in California, where that's the industry, and I went to more art house theaters than I did regular theaters in Cali, and there's nothing like Film Streams. So,
you know what? I mean, thinking about here in Atlanta, like if there was a place like Film Streams here where not only could you see films, but you can talk with the creators of the films about the film, about the issues surrounding the film, the things that are being touched, talked about in the film. That's something that would stand out even in a city, like Atlanta. And I mean, Cirque du Soleil is right down the street. You know what I mean? Like, there's things going on, but something like that definitely stands out.
It really
Yeah,
does. I think of like Tribeca, or I think of like New York film festivals. I mean, those are only, or Cannes out in France. Those are only places that will have a Spike Lee come and speak like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was nope. I mean, people. It was epic. It was epic that he was in town. And people were just, you could feel the energy. People were just going crazy. And also also my friend over here who's the host, she did a really good job. She put it down. You in this picture you can see that she's wearing these shell toe Adidas,
man.
and they were patent leather shell toe Adidas, like just shiny.
Mm, mm.
First thing Spike does when he sits down is like shell toes. He's like he's acknowledging the sneakers, because that's just how New York this cat is, man. It was just everything. Everybody was just hanging on every word. Everybody was just like, it was great. It was really great, and I was proud of Omaha. Like I was proud. I was walking around the lobby, and it was so many different people from different sides of town, from different friend groups. uh,
Mm.
it was incredible. It was one of those situations where it's like, if you're gonna be in Omaha, man, don't miss something like this. So, shout out to Film Streams for doing what they did. I'm happy that they're back in the community as strong as they are. It's not just people like Spike that can come talk to you about the film, but they also put panels of experts up all the time to talk about films, and to not just treat film as going to see the movie, but also to treat film like, hey, here's a situation that's going on in our neighborhoods. Let's watch this documentary about it, and then have some experts on the panel to talk about it. Or a real
Man,
community third space in a big way.
strategic communication. Strategic communication, man. It's about more than that. That's love warriorship right there. Love supreme.
There you go. Ariel's 402 says, hot the like button. Like that.
Hey,
Hot.
make it hot.
Please
Make it hot.
hit your like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Wanda Lewis is reminding us, what is the city doing with the money from the sewer separation project that they have MUD collecting from them when we pay our utility bill on a monthly basis. Wanda Lewis has been warning us about this for a while. I'm glad you
Man,
keep bringing it up, because it finally drilled into my head. I'm looking at this bill like, why am I paying more in collecting in what is it, sewer separation, than I am the actual bill? Like, it's a huge amount of money on your bill that's going to sewer. She said it earlier, like, I don't want to have to pay. Where she said the city wants to contract everything, including snow removal, as well as the parks. They also have homeowners paying for new city sidewalks. They don't want to be responsible for their own infrastructure. She says she don't. Where she says she don't. She says, where does she say that she don't want to? She's like, I don't want to pay for this. Um, I can't find it now, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying on that. Like, uh, we have to watch when things are trickling down to citizens this way, that the city's supposed to be paying for. The city is going broke. This is not even a secret anymore. This is common knowledge. Think about everything that just happened with UNL over the last week, and the programs that are gotten cut over this lack of funding. I feel bad for the regions that had to come and kill some of these programs off. People are really, really, really crying about it too. But the city, it's like there's not any money out there. So what happens when that happens? They're gonna start making us pay for going to the park. They're gonna start making it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on here?
well, it's gonna be hard if ain't nobody here to pay.
It's already in people's plans to bail up out of here.
Let's go ahead and hop into it, man. Let's go ahead and dive into it. This whole brain drain conversation is the perfect setup for the next story. And really everything we just talked about is about that, man. Because what makes people stay in the city, like the economic stability of a
Yeah.
city, but also cool things, cultural things like Feature 9 and having Spike Lee come to the city. But is it enough? Is it enough to make folks stay in? Apparently not. just call it what it is, man. According to Nebraska Examiner, and of course Sidney Gonzalez on the report, doing the good work as always. Looking at the brain drain situation and the fact that the alarm is being rang, and it's not just by us, not just by the education academic space, but also political and business space, as they're starting to feel the impact of talent that's leaving the state. Again, if you're not familiar with the concept, brain drain talks about just that, the draining or the exit of talent and brain and mind power, and people who are able to move the city forward and to innovate and build up within your city, going to other places. What are you left with? Again, that question is being answered, or at least trying to be answered, and reversed, really, as yeah, it's not looking good. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of people hitting the nail on the head. At the bottom line of it, though, of course, is the fact that the state is going broke and they need a tax base. Let's just call it what it is. One particular senator, Exarban's Dan Bradford, said that his discussion about brain drain and the forces that for more than a decade have pushed more folks out of the state have been going for some time, but without connection. The state's budget woes become more pronounced. About $471 million windfall. Again, as Paul mentioned, it's not a theory. The state is going broke. The state is going broke, and people and policymakers are starting to pay more attention as the bottom line impacts. He says it's pretty clear if Omaha and Lincoln were growing anywhere like they should have been, we wouldn't have the problem we have right now. Saying the reality is Omaha and Lincoln deliver 60% of tax revenues. If Omaha is struggling, everybody else struggles. Again, on Monday, the Exarban Foundation is hosting a private meeting that's today in the Ashland area between Omaha and Lincoln for select business and elected and other leaders, intended to stimulate more discussion. Nebraska officials, including Omaha Mayor John Ewing, are to speak, as are experts expected to spotlight strategies in play or working elsewhere in the country to grow high-paying jobs in the talent pool. So people leaving, they trying to figure out what to do. Kind of interested about the secret meeting in Ashland. That's kind of interesting, but yeah, Paul, I know you. Yeah, I know you've been in some conversations about brain drain. Engage with some folks. What say you?
Yeah, engage with the artist community. That was the discussion in the artist community is a little bit different than other ones, and it kind of starts with this idea that we can't if we're going to tackle brain drain, we can't tackle it by saying we just need more clubs to go to and more restaurants to go to downtown and more recreational fun things to do. We need to address that there's people here that are love supreme warriors, that are artists, that are musicians, that can't really stay in town if they want to continue their career, their trajectory. They have to leave town because there's no infrastructure here for it. So providing infrastructure for not just artists, but other industries as well, in order for people to be able to stay and make more than just a living wage, but actually, make what everybody's trying to make, which is their fortune in whatever it is they're trying to do. Don't feel like they have to go somewhere else. My theory on it is that if you create a place where people want to come, then you're going to tackle two problems there with, bringing talent to the state as well, because we have things here that is attractive to people from outside of the area, but also those same things that attract other people might keep some people here. So we were able to talk a lot about it from an art perspective, which is a different perspective than the rest of the city is talking about it. But there's other sectors like sports where there's a lot of conversation going on there too. How do we attract people here for the sports programs? How do we keep people around? And when they are ready to go and continue their journey in their career, they're still connected to Nebraska some kind of way. So there's a lot of sectors talking about it. I kind of glossed over it last year, a couple of years ago, just because it's such a abstract idea. Brain drain to me is such an idea, and also because I'm so much for allowing people to move around, move away. I feel like it's very important for people, especially that were born and raised here, went to school here, to go somewhere else to see how other people live, to understand other things besides the microcosm of what's happening just right here, which can turn into a very insular situation. If you just were born and raised here and went to school here, you're thinking in this way that is one way, and and you really need to travel outside of your comfort zone to be able to learn, to be able to expand that yourself, just in general. So, because I have that theory just altogether, it's really tough for me to figure out, or to be any kind of help with anybody on trying to figure out exactly what we're talking about here as far as the brain drain is concerned. Is that our biggest problem is brain drain? I mean, is that our biggest problem? I kind of feel like there's some other things we need to worry about before we worry about that too much. But how is it connected? Let me know if you guys are thinking about this as well in the same way I am. I'd like to hear from the people in the chat for sure. Ariel's 402 says nobody wants to live here except for the people who believe in the Nebraska way of life. I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Nebraska ain't for everybody. That's their actual slogan.
Can't make it up.
Can't make it up. Black Dynamite says they are putting or bringing anything here that are making people want to come here. The only people that come to Omaha are people that get hired by Fortune 500s, and they come from outside of the state. The College World Series in Berkshire Hathaway. Right. That's my point. That's my point. Ariel's Pro 2 says Nebraska is attracting its own type of people. Nebraska is very appealing to those types.
Is there a Nebraska type?
Is there an American type? Juan Lewis says that they're going to make a profit off of our children, whether it's sports driven or prison driven. Exactly. Another thing, you got to look up a little bit of information. Would people want to come? Sometimes it feels like I know a lot of people who've left. Feels like it's an escape, and even if they love Omaha, they still are like, I ain't coming back though. I don't know if I'm coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not currently in Omaha. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
as far as my field, and I've escalated and elevated in my my profession as far as the industry of music that I'm in. Outside of this, as a result of leaving Omaha and finding other opportunities, but that is one of the top issues. But is that enough? Is kind of my question. As experts, quote unquote, have the conversation. One of the top advice or top things that they say can drive or reverse this whole brain drain train, if you will, is higher paying jobs. Higher paying jobs with growth potential. Also affordable housing, all the other talking points, public transit, beautiful spaces. We just got done talking about public parks and an inclusive community and political leadership that listens. Again, all of these things are things that they said could possibly drive it. But I mean, just seeing your face, is that enough?
No, I don't think so. Those are some good points and good things to have. Is it the reason why you would move to a place though? If you read those stats, you know what I'm saying? If I was sitting here going, where should I go to? Where should I go? First of all, I mean, that's the number one question is like, what am I doing what you're doing is kind of going to determine where you go and what you're doing and finding your place. So that's got to be number one. And then the second thing that comes to mind is I feel like those are all secondary amenities. It's kind of like if you want to live on the side of town, you want to find out if the school on that side of town is good. Or some people move because that particular school is a good school district. So that might be why they want to move to a certain part of town. I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, these are great facts. These are good things to check off. But why are you there in the first place? Like, what kind of scene are you in? I mean, I would move to a city that was more
that part.
Yeah, I'm
you said the word.
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska because I got family in Omaha, Nebraska that I am a part of their lives and can't see leaving. Man, it's the only reason, because there's nothing else that I do that aligns or that aligns with with who I am, and there's not, and the politics here don't align, and a lot of situations don't align. If it wasn't for the people, it wasn't for the friends, it wasn't for the legacy of my family being here before, and it wasn't for my family that are here now, I still question, even with all those things, I question, like, what am I still doing in town?
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wholeheartedly. I think what all those things that they named off, public housing and transit and all of those things they're just outward things. I think what's really missing is culture. You mentioned a scene that, like, the spirit, like, what is the spirit of Omaha? Yeah. Like, what is the culture of Omaha? What is the thing that, births all of these other things? Like, what is that? And is that something that we can all jive with? And I think, here we are, hour and a half into the episode. that is the question of the season: spaces and places. What are the spaces like take to build that space and place that we want to thrive in, that we can all call home, that we can plant our seeds, plant our roots, and grow. And it's kind of funny that we're talking about planting seeds and gardening, because you talk about culture. Like, what is a culture? You know what I mean? Like, talk about
Mm.
bacteria, a culture, something that grows. You know what I mean? So, what is the culture? Like, we joke about it, but those things like Nebraska is not for everybody kind of speaks to the fact that is the culture something that we can jive with? You know what I mean? And when I think about why I was like, when I was excited to come back to Omaha, and why, coming out of college, I was excited to go back to Omaha, because there was a scene bubbling up. There was a culture that was, again, I'm an artist, I'm a musician. So at that time, both was going crazy. There was a whole DIY scene at Omaha of underground artists, going into hole in the wall spots, throwing shows. The culture house was bubbling up. This is right, but like there was a scene, a culture that was going on. And I think, going back to the panel that you're talking about, as far as the brain drain conversation that you had, was with a bunch of artists. And the reality is those scenes come and go because there's no infrastructure, as you mentioned, to maintain those scenes, which is, where we suffer. But yeah, there's no culture. Again, let me know what y'all think on that theory. I'm just kind of I'm cooking right now, but
Yeah.
let me know what you think. Let me know.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that too. There is there is, contrary to popular belief, there is culture. Every city has a culture. Especially if you're somebody like me that's come from a different city, and you come here and see what that culture is. It's not the culture you might be looking for, but there is a culture here, and it is. We talked a little bit about like assimilation and the way that things move. Earlier in the show, we talked a lot about like how what these things actually are. They actually would love for us to be assimilated into the culture that they're demanding be the case here, and it does have to do with leadership. It does have to do with a lot. You're either an activist acting directly against this culture, or you're buying in a major part of this culture. So, and that's really what it is. Other than that, you're just maintaining. You're here. You have a job. You're able to live. You got family here, and you're here. But are you fulfilled? Will your kids be fulfilled in that same environment, or are they itching to get out of town? These are all things that have to be considered, that are way beyond, I think, some of the conversations that people have about it, about brain drain in general. I love to see in the chat, Eros Pro 2 says Nebraska is attractive. It's its own type of people. We just talked about that. Nebraska is very appealing to those types. Wanda Lewis says they're going to make a profit. Oh, okay. I'm going backwards here. RG says Omaha and Nebraska as a whole is not a destination. Folks come here for a handful of reasons: family, school, work, or some combination of those three. True, except there's a lot of people that come here. I believe there's a lot of people that do come here as a destination for certain parts of the culture. Certain parts of the culture come here as a destination. If you're a money guy, you're gonna come to where Berkshire Hathaway is.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, if you're in agriculture, you're going to be in here, or Iowa, or Idaho, or other areas surrounding. Again, what is the culture here? What is?
Man, for some people, it is interesting. Like some people who grew up in rural areas, they look at Omaha like the big city.
Bro, that
Like,
blew my mind the first time I heard that.
Omaha's the big town. Like, it's, man,
I've even met some people that came they were like, I couldn't handle it. Omaha was too big. I had to go back. I've even met some of them folks that tripped me out coming from California. That's just like, they were like, yeah, I was, I grew up in a small town, and that's cool. I moved to the big city. I was like, oh, really? Where in New York did you where in LA did you stay? Chicago? She was, Omaha.
nah.
Omaha's the big city? Omaha? Yeah, I guess so. So, here's my personal thing though. Like, before we go to a break here, I want to just mention that that when I find myself in places like this, coming from where I come from, it's cool, because I'm always going to find my people. I'm always going to find my culture, my tribe. I'm always going to help try to make the situation bigger, which is what I think First Sky Omaha is really all about. And when you get down to the nitty of the gritty of it,
Yeah. Really.
We trying to, yeah. So there is the element of trying to make the place that you're at the place, and what makes you want to stay and make a place good, your ties to it, your family that's here, the people that you care about, that you want things to be better for here, so on. There's a lot of life and mission in that. I can't take nothing away from that. I can't take nothing away from the people that stayed in Omaha and work to try to make Omaha thrive all the time, and that's true too. So that's why I have such a little bit of an attitude about this brain drain talk. This is a different conversation about whether or not your kids feel like they need to get out of here, because a lot of people are going. Everybody feels like that. You can live in Hollywood, California, and feel like I gotta get out of this town. This town is dried up. I want to move somewhere else. I remember living in California growing up, thinking I needed to be in Minneapolis because of Prince and them. Like,
Man.
and I'm thinking, and I'm in California going, I need to move to some snowy weather where there ain't no even a black station in town, so I can, because that's where it's happening. Like everybody feels at one point in their young life that they want to bounce out of here. A lot of people come back though. A lot of them people come back too. So again, to me, it's about a way of life. What do you have here that is fulfilling your life? Fulfilling your life. I can't take nothing away from people that have stayed in town, that are all about it, and that are here just you're maintaining, living, or trying to make things better for the people that live here. That's a mission as well. That's a mission on its own. That's the mission. That's the reason why I'm here.
Man, same.
So
I mean, wholeheartedly got my feet in both places. As far as here in Atlanta, being here to pursue my dreams, for the reasons, and then of course maintaining this show and maintaining my connections to Omaha, because at the end of the day, it is home. And while it has its issues, I do hope to see it become the space and place that it is in my heart. You know what I mean? That home that it always will be, hopefully. So yeah, man. What does it take to make it that? We're talking about it. So again, appreciate the chat. Actually, a lot of people going off in the chat. If you want to jump,
I did. Yeah. Before we go to a break, I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of things. Marlon Harrison saying the reason why I stay in Omaha is because I feel like my heart and soul are in this community, and going to the other city wouldn't feel authentic to me. I'm with that. I feel that.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
I take Omaha with me. Like, even though I'm here in Atlanta and I travel a lot, go to state and go to places, like, even especially in the music industry, you know what I mean? You trying to be a rapper, people gonna call back to your city. Like, who knows you from the place that you're from? Like, where'd you come from? And that actually, it does mean something, as you go into the world and try to make a name for yourself. Where did you come from? And hey, I came from North Omaha, and I say it with pride.
There you go. I always think of Bud Crawford, bro. World champ, stays in town, champion of the city because he stays in town. He don't just stay in town and just have a couple houses. He buys blocks. He opens businesses. He takes care of the fam here. He is the reason why young boxers from all over the country want to get to Omaha. That's a big deal. Black Dynamite says, bingo, buddy. I used to work at the airport, and I remember thinking they need restaurants that are exclusively local to Omaha, but then you have to stop and ask what are restaurants that are exclusive in Omaha. There's not much culture here. Again, when we talk about culture, to me, culture is a loaded word because of with our audiences, it's going to mean one thing to one audience, one thing to other audiences. And as far as the black community is concerned, the culture that we're kind of talking about is not the thing here. It ain't no Atlanta. It's not no Atlanta in Omaha, Nebraska, for sure. You are absolutely in this culture of being a square, working a 9 to 5 at a Fortune 5 company, living low key, wife, 2 kids, 2.5 kids, a dog, white picket fence, go to College World Series every year, see some baseball. Americana. It is a culture. And it is here, and they do push it.
Apple pie, leave it to Beaver.
That's right. And if you're not that, you might be in jail in Omaha, Nebraska.
Is that the culture?
Part of the culture, yeah. Law enforcement, huge. Cannon Coltrane in the chat. Good morning. Says Omaha is the place to make connections with quiet money, mission-driven clicks. Interesting. Anthony Rogers writes, these are facts, Paul. LA, New York City, Atlanta, Detroit, Chi-Town, they all have their thing that drives people to those towns. Omaha doesn't have that, and there are myriad of reasons. Like I said,
Okay.
Omaha
Okay.
doesn't have it for us. Omaha doesn't have it for
Right.
others. Some people do want that scene, bro. He says on being that our activist community is not that active. True. There's not a lot of pushback. A lot of people feed into the culture of Omaha, Nebraska. What that is. Also sounds work related. Beezy talking about RG. Yeah, definitely work related. I do remember that being a thing when I got to town. Oh, the cost of living is way better here than where I just came from. Okay, cool. I
Mhm.
can get it, and then but then you look for a job and the wages ain't up.
Right.
It's not just cost of living is low, so are the wages. Marlon Harrison
Yeah.
says, I feel like a lot of people that want a big city life like New York City, Atlanta, and Chicago, but Omaha has good cultural scene and has many things that other cities don't have. Agreed. Totally agree. There is nothing like the this whole everybody is everybody's cousin feeling in the black community. Like I ain't never lived nowhere else that had that feeling. And
Yeah.
even if we ain't related some kind of way, like we feel like we are. So, and that's huge. That's huge. There's different pockets of places in certain boroughs in New York and certain neighborhoods in California and so on. But yeah, Omaha is definitely very special when it comes to that. Pops in the chat says my father moved us from Omaha when I was 10, and he stated it was so that his kids would have more opportunities. I never would have become the lead vocalist of the Platters or a hit songwriter. That's right. You had to move to L.A. to do those things for sure. Move to California and have access to L.A. And that's the truth. But again, we're talking about artists. We're talking about black culture, and we're talking about black artistry.
Mm.
Absolutely have to move to a different place to make that flourish if you're in Omaha. So culture is the definition of culture is kind of like
Who's culture? I hear what you're saying, Paul. I hear what you're saying. It's not for everybody.
not
I hear what you're saying.
crazy to say that, man. It's crazy to think that Omaha made that their slogan, their state slogan. Y'all don't hear me. The state slogan that they agreed upon was Omaha, Nebraska. It's not for everyone. How crazy is that slogan? Ariel's 402 culture, high taxes, severe punishment, no gambling, no recreational or medicinal.
Even though the people want it, which is, and I think that's the crazy part too. This is an interesting thought because when we spoke to Sister Burns, we had what was it, Holly Burns
Mhm.
on Friday. Great episode. If you missed that episode, definitely go back and check it
Please.
out. But she had mentioned the fact that there's just a sentiment around the Cornhusker, the ice facility, and the fact that even the workers in it didn't want it. Like the sense was that nobody really wanted that, and that even though Nebraska is pushed as this, as she said, ruby red state, it really is a centrist state. You know what I mean? And
She said it's purple.
just yeah, and just kind of having this thought, even going back, like in my mind, going back to like slavery and like how did the Civil Rights Act, or how did the Civil Rights War happen? How did the decline of slavery start to happen in American society? And it was the Nebraska-Kansas Act in the Nebraska-Kansas where people were centrist on slavery. Like some people wanted it, some people didn't. So much so that it became a national debate that led to the Civil War. So I say all that to say it's just very interesting, the state of Nebraska, and just you think of it like what it really is. And this whole idea of it's not for everybody is a minority that's pushing this.
I gotta push back a little bit on that.
Okay.
It's not a pushback because you're absolutely right. I feel like this state is purple. I really do feel like that. I feel like it is a handful of people that are pushing. We need to be red and stay there. And I'm not even. Let me quit using the color analogies because that's not even. I'm not even talking about politically. I'm talking about people's attitudes about stuff. Like we just said it. High taxes. Nobody wants that. Severe punishment. Nobody wants that except for people that want to punish people. No gambling. No recreational, medicinal. All these things are things that if you ask the average Nebraskan, they're probably agreeing with you on a lot of this stuff. So the pushback comes from the fact that it has something to do with what Brother Anthony Rogers Wright just said. The activists ain't very active. It's if what I feel like is that people will go, yeah, I really don't like that there's a Cornhusker Clink, but I also don't want to buck against the powers that be. And when you don't buck against the powers that be, when you don't stand up, then you automatically are voting with them. You're automatically going with that. And so in the fact that they are not going to speak up for what they really want, they're making it so that this state is what this state is. So if you're not speaking out, if you're not fighting the power, if you're not doing it, then you're just going along with what's happening. They'd rather go along and be nice and be quiet and be small and just go along rather than, and just kind of complain to themselves. It really would be nice if we had recreational or whatever it is that they really feel like they really want. Sure, I'll sign a petition. Petitions are getting ready to get thrown out the window. All your signatures for cannabis in this state is about to get thrown out the window. So you signed that for nothing. But what was your signature going to do in the first place? You know what I'm saying? So to me, I don't cut. Sure. What she said was, I feel like is very true. You go talk to the average Nebraskan. They don't want a lot of things that are happening. But if you don't push for what you do actually really want, then you're just going to let what happens. That's a weak stance, man. That permeates this state for me, is that kind of weakness, that kind of inability to speak up for what it is that you want. Just go with the status quo. Go along with it. Nebraska nice, going along with it.
Man. First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of dipped a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure on wire acting up or there we go. Yeah, man, cord acting funky. Man, hey man.
What are you?
Anyway, man, in the last 20 minutes, let's go ahead and dive into that kind of. There's something there, you know what I mean? As far as the narrative that's been pushed in the state, the fact that people don't want it, and this voice that is pushing this agenda, and the voice being loud enough, being i.e. the Republican voice, to get things done. And talking about Pillin and this whole Cornhusker, Clink situation that nobody wants. Again, we've been talking about this, and again, wrapping right into the conversation we're having as far as activists being loud, people chiming up, having their voices heard, loud enough to get things done. Nobody wants this. The senators have called for special sessions and hearings and studies, and the people are protesting. The citizens of McCook are protesting. They've even sued. So now it's going through the legal process and things like that. So again, nobody wants this, but yet here is Pillin, the very loud minority, pushing this forward. And the latest stance in this, politicizing the tragedy that took place, I guess this happened over the weekend. This went down yesterday.
Last week.
This was last week. Again, there was, man, that's crazy. There's been so many shootings happening. I didn't even realize this was last week. But for those who don't know, again, there was multiple shootings linked to this one case, one individual. But there was in particular a man who lost his life at Phil's Foodway, I guess last week, as Paul said. And now it has come out that the suspect in that situation was a undocumented Venezuelan national who was in the Omaha area, who apparently got into that situation with the man at the store, ended up taking his life, fleeing the scene, stealing a car, ended up coming in contact with the police, getting into a shootout with them. I believe they took his life during that shootout. But this whole situation is now being politicized and used as a pawn, as a tool from Pillin to push the need and to justify this Cornhusker Clink that, again, nobody wants. And there's a lot of talking points to this. There's a lot to this. But the biggest thing, of course, is this narrative that's being pushed by a very small majority that is still going through, moving forward. Here we are. Again, we just got the insight on Friday from the 60 or so individuals that are currently locked up, and now the push to have more. Paul, what say you?
Man, this thing right here where Pillin, we didn't really state what he said, but he kind of got online and was just like, this is the reason why we need Cornhusker Clink right here. These undocumented workers over here doing all this stuff, shooting at the cops. It is real convenient that there was a undocumented illegal Venezuelan that committed this act. It is not just something that they're going to jump on and try to be like, this is the reason why we need this ICE facility. But in the grand scheme of what's going on between Venezuela and the United States, it's almost like, how would he not have used this? Because this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, it could be fodder for the administration to be using against with what's going on with the relationship between Venezuela and the United States right now. Like, it's insane that this particular person happened to be this person. Do we even know? I know one Venezuelan in Omaha, Nebraska, and that's it. So I'm tripping on the fact that it feels almost like it feels almost like some COINTELPRO stuff, like we were saying earlier. Like, is this dude op? Is he an agent? Like, how did this? How perfect of a way to have to propagandize the news than to have something like this happen. And of course, you know, I don't want to get too far into saying that, but I'm just saying, like, it's unfortunate that it's one of them situations where it's like, oh man, they're gonna use this and try to, and this is gonna be more of a reason why Cornhusker Clink got to happen. Of course, bunch of stuff to prove the point of that they have. And definitely standing out using that against it. RG says Pillin was just talking about those types that Nebraska appeals to when he made that statement. Eros Pro 2 says, while the evidence exists, those making decisions can't be persuaded. Right. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, we can go down a rabbit hole on that, but it's just more ammo for them to say that this is what needs to happen and justify what decision. Go ahead.
I do want to make a correction, actually. According to KETV7, the suspect in the situation, Juan Melgar Ayala, is from El Salvador. He's not Venezuelan. He's from El Salvador, but your talking point, like your point is still valid as far as this being used as political talking point, and this republic, or this agenda and this war that's going on, not just with Venezuela, but of course the boats that are being bombed in the Caribbean Sea. And those could be El Salvadorian. I mean, they could be from Colombian, Venezuelan. I mean, who knows who these people actually are that are being bombed, because they're just blowing them to smithereens. But to your point of, COINTELPRO, it is, man, look.
I mean, it's not really a point I'm making, but
it's a point I'm making, because what is really going on about this political agenda that Trump is trying to push? Of course, if you've been paying attention, a similar situation happened in DC, where 2 National Guardsmen were shot. I believe one lost their life. I lost trail on what was happening with the other one, if they lost their life or not. But it has come out, NPR is reporting that the shooter in that situation was, in fact, a COINTELPRO operative. This man was a part of a CIA counterterrorism unit. So again, what is going on in this country, and what is happening to push these agendas? I mean, it's just, to your point, it's all very convenient. And also, when you add into the fact that Sheriff Hansen and Chief Schmatter just met with the FBI, they have this whole agreement with Homeland Security for the Cornhusker Clink. And I wanted to mention this, and I don't think I mentioned it on Friday, but it came into my mind as far as the agreement between the state and this Cornhusker Clink and the Homeland Security. Like, is the state contractually obligated to keep that field to a certain point? Again, I'm going to ask, per the agreement between Homeland Security and the state of Nebraska, are they contractually obligated to keep it to a certain occupancy rate? Because Homeland Security is paying Nebraska to do this. So if I'm going to pay you millions of dollars, I want to see a return. Like, I want to know that you're actually capturing people and doing what you're saying you're going to do.
We keep hearing about that number 200. 200 people.
What is that the quota? And again, if you're contractually obligated, is this not human trafficking? Is this?
8:49. If you believe in the concept of time, we appreciate everybody that's jumped in. I'm sorry that I'm not getting to all of your comments, but I appreciate everybody putting those comments in. Mama God said something had me cracking up earlier. She said, I still can't explain the Nebraska cousin concept to my Alabama husband. Also, Marlon Harrison says, for me, Omaha has cultural scenes, our College World Series, Juneteenth, Benson First Fridays, Native Omaha Days, and Christmas in the Village. Appreciate that, because Native Omaha Days, especially, and the biggest Juneteenth celebration in the country, happen in Omaha, Nebraska. There is culture, and that's my point. We're the ones who are trying to like be and grow and have that kind of culture exist. It's still not like other cities, but I come to a city like this, I find the chosen few. I find the ones that are about the culture and trying to do what they're doing. So I appreciate the reminder, Marlon Harrison, for sure. Also, somebody, Christine Norris, said medical cannabis is legal in Nebraska as long as you have a letter of recommendation from your medical provider. You can process 5 ounces. So I appreciate you, reminding us that this has been in debate and is going back and forth. And there's forces that are trying to take things away now for things that have already been voted in. So it's a good reminder that just where people stand somewhere, people stand certain places in this state. Even I think that a lot of them are just allowing the status quo to happen, but some of them are fighting back for sure. We definitely still have a blue dot for the moment. Man. So we can talk about that for sure. Also, Christy Norris also says the issue is the dispensary part of it. Pillen would rather us lose millions of dollars to other states. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of other things are standing out here to me too. I really appreciate everybody's comments here. Pops is saying the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Echoing the stuff we were talking about a little earlier as well. And also Wanda Lewis is saying, why waste money on trials, resources, etc., when you can be judge, jury, and executioner and get it over with? Just like they'll do away with everyone on the drug boats, leaving no one left behind, even if they have to duplicate their efforts. Very true. Very true. We definitely see things moving in that direction, and we definitely have to fight on those things for sure. So appreciate that very much. I appreciate all your comments. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, but yeah, I think we have a sentiment here where, especially in the last part of the show, we are definitely thinking about some of the issues that we have here. What's going on here with the way that things are moving. I'd like having this reminder of where we're at and what a lot of the people are thinking, as opposed to what a lot of the laws are, which means that a lot of our lawmakers are doing things against the people's wishes, which has also been something we've been talking about for the last year. Yeah. This has been happening a lot. Shout out to the senators that come onto our show that we know are working for the people in the way that they are. And that's for real. So before we get to the last part of this show here, just want to kind of remind everybody about that we always get to this end of the show. We talk about, who we are, what we're trying to do, and why. This is Monday. We talk about setting intentions for the week and really trying to remind ourselves about what it is that we need to be fighting for, which is what I'm taking away for this. I'm going to ask you, buddy, in a minute what you're taking away, but I'm definitely taking away the reminder that there's a lot of people here that do feel a certain way, and we kind of maybe have to help persuade them to act on the way that they feel instead of let the status quo go. And that there's a fight that we have to continue to fight on a lot of the things that are going on. And this fight that we have here is the same fight that we have for the rest of the country, because Nebraska leadership is modeling what they're doing after this administration in a big way. Sometimes it feels like they're doing it in order to impress this administration.
Man, pick me pilling. That's what they calling them.
Man. So I'm definitely gonna think about that. I'm gonna think about the rest of what we are talking about for this final week in this season, Spaces and Places. We definitely will try to reach out to some people about the situation with the parks. I think that's going to be an important thing to talk about here that'll lead into next season. Follow the money subjects, and we'll continue to talk about those things as well, because I'm really taking away from that. I don't want a broke city to start taxing us on and making us pay for all kinds of stuff because the city's broke. That is something that I'm walking away with here too. I got to keep my eye on this MUD bill. I got to keep my eye on this OPPD bill.
It's going up.
This situation, right? It's all these utilities that are going up. We haven't even jumped into the situations of having these big complexes move to the city. What's the word I'm looking for here for the
data centers you talking
data
about?
centers? Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Passed by one the other day, man. Didn't really realize it was one.
Really?
Yeah. And I was rolling with Amy. Amy pointed it out. Like, yeah, that's the data center right there now, next to my house now. Like everybody electric bill going up. So it's happening. My takeaway is that part. I'm going to be really kind of paying more attention to that. I remember when I was living in one house, I hated how you gonna find me for the snow being on a public sidewalk? I never got that part. That ain't my sidewalk, but I got to be the one to take care of it, to de-ice it, shovel it down, and everything else. Got a problem with all of it in the first place, but it just was the beginning of me going, what is the city doing around? What are we doing here? What is the city supposed to be doing here?
It's my favorite question. What are we doing?
What is government and what is it for? But anyway, 8:55 right now for being the concept of time. Buddy, what's your takeaway? What's your intention for the week?
Man, my intention for the week is to continue to set up and prepare for next year. That's looking, spaces and places, looking into the future and what is the what spaces and places would I like to occupy next year? What does next year look like for your boy? So that's where my mind is. But the takeaway for today's show, I think I feel like I was cooking, man. I feel like there was some along with that culture piece, as far as like what is the culture, what does that look like, what does that mean, and how do you kind of drive and thrive that, and I think if you kind of focus on what that culture is, what you would like it to be, and how to let it grow, how to plant the seeds and let it grow, uh other things will birth from it. You'll see spaces and you'll see organizations and businesses and you'll see events pop up, all coming from and representing and reflecting the culture. So kind of keep that in mind. What is the culture? What kind of culture would we like to see, and how do we make that happen? And that's my takeaway for today, man. So yeah, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully we did more good than bad, created more clarity than confusion today. With that, Paul B, what's the word? I got about 40 more minutes. How we getting up out of here, man?
I kind of want to put it to the people. What's your intention for the week? What's your intention for the month? What's going on here with the holidays? What came of of the blackout situation? Did anybody not spend over that period of time? How did the boycotts go? What are you planning on doing for the Christmas situation coming up here? Christmas and Kwanzaa is about to happen. I know there's a lot of resources still out there. We're definitely going to continue this idea about putting resources out there for people, because I think people are getting nervous about what's going to be coming up here for Christmas as well. Now that Thanksgiving is past, they got to figure that out, and that's not just food and dinners, but gifts and everything else that people are worried about right now. So I want to definitely talk about the intention of keeping our mental capacity there. Just checking in with mental health with people who are stressed around this period of time. The holidays is always a stressful time for a lot of people because family be familying, and there's a huge economic situation that happens around Christmas because of Christmas.
Robin season,
man. So we still got to stay on top of that. There's some families that are out there that are still struggling, still cold, houseless sometimes, don't know where their next meal is coming from, and definitely don't know what they're going to do about the holidays. So we just try to do good. Like Ariel's 402 says, my intentions, do good.
Man, there you go.
I like it. For sure. I appreciate everybody that's joining us and talking about this too. Let us know what it is that you plan on doing, where your actions are going to lie over this next month as well. Really love to hear about that. See what's going on.
Actually, speaking of that, Miss Wanda Lewis taking us out, kind of preparing for next season. She says the city is broke because they're giving the big corporations with the use of TIF, and the residents have to make up the difference. Again, next season we will be following the money, man. So prepare for that as well, man. Again, looking at how public dollars are spent. How do we spend our own dollars? How can we make some dollars? All of that.
For real. Anthony Rogers, right? He says he's talking about a definitive community guide. I don't think that you put that that if you have a link to something like that, let us know if you're putting it in there. Yeah, if there's a definitive community guide, I'd love to check it out. So if you could put that link in the chat or put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha even, so we can all get a hold of that. But I appreciate that. Thanks for everybody who's putting stuff in Friends of First Sky Omaha and still going there. We are going to change some things up next season as well on a lot of different things. It's about time for us. We have to make some switches because it is the situation where we're trying to maintain this. And if, y'all know there ain't no money in news in a big way. So in order to maintain this, we got to continue to do advertising. We continue to do certain services. We continue to go for certain grants. We got to do what we got to do to get this going. And next year we'll be really trying to tap into you for membership as well. The membership to what it is that we're doing. And we're going to try to offer some things that you can only get with your membership. These are some things that are going to be changing here next season, which is next year for us, so that we can definitely can maintain this conversation and continue and also get to some action items with it as well. So mutual aid is something that we're going to be looking into really hard next year. And I'm glad that we got this good kind of group of family of folks together to really kind of take some action on stuff. So please continue to have the conversations and bring more people in on the conversations. And if you miss any parts of any of the interviews that we had this season, then definitely check it out on YouTube. They'll be there for a little while. Next season, we're not going to keep a whole bunch of stuff on some of these social media channels. We're going to be trying to keep it on our own website, our own channel, in order for us to be able to preserve it, because who knows where they'll go in any other time. That's any whim of a oligarch decides that they're no longer there, like Facebook. Our older episodes are no longer there because they have decided that anything past 30 days can't stay on anymore.
Man, either that or Meta sells our likeness to AI or Sora or something, and we look up. Man.
And it's already there, bro. We play our tracks on the breaks, and I'm afraid that that's the property of Facebook now.
Hey, was talking, man. Had some conversations about it last night. Let's get about here, man. Don't get me started, man.
Sean McCarthy in the chat says, as always, the current intention is to find a job. Solidarity to anyone who is also unemployed out there right now. The market is brutal.
Man,
appreciate that, man. Appreciate you tapping in on that. We'll definitely talk. And yeah, I think that the Follow the Money season is going to be really relevant because of that fact too. A lot of people lost their jobs. They're saying as many people lost their jobs in the past few months as they did during COVID. It's brutal out here, and of course, you know, we talked about black women taking the brunt of it, but it's brutal everywhere for real. And yeah, man, like you said, solidarity to anyone who's also unemployed out here right now. The market is brutal. You ain't lying. Lynn Mills in the chat says, continue to focus on community service. I appreciate that very much. Sure. Yep. Yeah, man. Also, Black Diamond says, I lost all my gig videos because they changed that rule. Yeah, man. And yeah. So again, people that, you know, the only place that you had videos that you playing drums, playing your gigs was sitting on Facebook, and now they're disappeared because anything past 30 days. So again, these types of things, you know, we have to, just like everything else, we got to use our strategic communication and media skills in order to preserve what's happening here and continue the conversation. So we're going to continue to work on that too. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh yes. Speaking of that, second part of strategic communication, Lanes of Change video coming out. Look out for it. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out,
buddy. Any final words for the people?
Yeah, man. Of course. Last week of the season. Hopefully, we started off on a good foot. Again, going to reach out to brother Wayne. You know, try to get his take and more insight on the whole Miller Park situation. But again, as we wrap up this season, continuing to talk about spaces and places. What do the spaces look like? What do the places look like? How can we make the spaces and places we would like to thrive in? You know, how can we build the area around us? Again, it's on us. So in the meantime, between time, take care. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul.
In the morning.
Hey, so with that, go ahead and take it away, man.
Right on. Pop says, as always, I'm sorry, that's not what Pop said. He says, great start for the week. I can't imagine a world without First Sky Omaha. See you Wednesday. Appreciate you, Pops. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate all of you. Shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We really appreciate all your comments and the deep dives in today, especially I'm thinking about Wanda Lewis with a lot of information, always putting it on my mind about infrastructure here in Omaha and how much we have to pay for it is the point. And we will definitely continue that. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright reminding me that the activists ain't very active. We got to get more active in a real way to push what it is that we want. And we got more people behind us that want it than we think a lot of times. So find some conversation, some solidarity, keep the lines of communication open in all the ways we know how to do that in order for people to not just shut down on us, but keep the lines of communication open so we can continue that communication and get on the same page. And also, if you got any job information, shoot it to us as well, especially on Friends of First Sky Omaha. And we're gonna, like I said, we're working on a resource page that'll have some job information there too to supplement some of the things that we are getting from other people who are, definitely highly in the game, always sending over job information. So we'll definitely try to get that in one spot for everybody to have some resources soon. So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for our special guest that is coming on Wednesday and on Friday. We're gonna have some good final guests coming in for this last week of Spaces to Play season. And until then, be cool. It's still cold outside, so please take care of yourselves and check on your loved ones. And we'll definitely see you on Wednesday when we continue the conversation. Meantime, between time, peace. We out.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the Red